Hello, yes, so you're welcome to our live session today. 5 parenting skills you need to stop yelling. My name is Wendy Ologan. I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. I am going to be sharing with you today 5 skills you need so that you can stop yelling. It's our month of calm. All right. I also want to remind you that our International Day of Calm will be live at exactly 2 p.m. today. That's why this session is airing at 12 noon. All right, so invite your friends, your family, let them know that we are live here today. If you can see me, you can hear me. Let me see your comment right in the comment section that we are live, all right? That you can see me and hear me. What are the 5 skills you would need to stop yelling at your children? Number one, who can guess? Let me be sure that I can be heard before I would continue. I'm sure I can be heard. Number one skill that you want to Number one skill is communication. Do you know that many parents actually struggle because they have communication issues? That's why they yell. Now, it's been proven over and again that when you lose communication, you throw a tantrum. Somebody help me write that in the comment section. When you lose communication, you throw a tantrum. Yes. So many persons, when they are having issues connecting and all of that, they become violent. And now what happens to you? All right. You are talking to your children, you are trying to communicate with your children, and then you don't know what else to say. You start getting angry, you start yelling because you have lost communication. So communication is one skill that you would need to be able to stop yelling. If you can't communicate appropriately, you are going to throw tantrums. I know that hitting a child, yelling at a child is you throwing a tantrum. I'm sure no parent wants to hear this, but trust me, it is what it is. Now it is the it is the holiday period. A lot of us are going to get overwhelmed and all of the things that is happening. If you lack communication, the next thing that happens is that you're going to just take on to you being violent, and you scream because you do not know what else to do. So one of the things that you must do is to look at your communication and improve it. So if you're learning how not to yell and you do not know how to speak and you do not know how to communicate to be heard, you're going to have a problem. So in this month, part of what we're doing in the inner circle is we've created a system where we're going to be teaching communication classes to the parents in the inner circle. All right. Well, it's a 2-day master class. We're also going to open it up to the public, but it's free for parents in the academy, because I want to. The master class is called Solving Family Problems Through Effective Communication, because I have seen that just by learning how to communicate effectively, we can solve a lot of family problems without having to raise our voice. I'm sure somebody is listening to me now and say, I communicate appropriately. I am soft-spoken. I'm calm. I made a post this morning and a father said to me, my wife is the calm one. I'm the one that is always shouting, but my children don't ever listen to them. Why is it that the calm person that they are not listening to? I said something to him that is very, very profound. I said to him, sir, the truth of the matter is that being calm does not mean that you have the effective tools to actually be able to deliver. So you can be calm and you don't have any tool to use. So people say, but I talk slowly, but that's communication. Being calm is not communicating effectively. A lot of quiet people do not know how to communicate effectively. And that's a very big issue. So communicating effectively is different from I'm a calm person, I am a quiet person, I can just, sit down and say nothing. That's a different ballgame. Effective communication is bigger than that. All right. I'm not going to take a lot of our time on that. I will continue to run. Number 2, all right. If you're Yada, of course, and you're excited about the effective communication class, let me see you in the comment section. All right. Being calm doesn't mean you're communicating effectively. Yes, 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 yes. I love that. So communicating effectively is different from being calm. Okay. And then I also remember that I told the man that being aggressive does not necessarily mean that your children are listening to you. they might not even be listening. They might just be afraid of you. I can see you guys. Yeah, I see you guys. They might just be afraid of you. All right. So effective communication means that this person can hear you. This person can understand you. This person know what it is that you're talking about. Okay. All right. I'm also excited. And by the way, we have an interesting webinar tomorrow morning for parents in the inner circle. I can't wait to deliver on that particular webinar tomorrow. Number 2, emotional challenge. Emotional intelligence skills, sorry. Emotional intelligence skill is number 2 skill you would need if you must stop yelling. So when we talk about, not yelling, or by the way, we learned the no yelling challenge. If you're a yeller, you want to be there. Like me, I was once a yeller. And one of the things that I didn't, realize is that I was a yeller. I was praying to stop yelling. I was, very distant about yelling. I was praying, oh God, just give me calm and all of that. For you to actually get to stop yelling, it's not just about keeping quiet. So when people hear us talk about no yelling, one of the things that come to their mind is, coach is telling us not to say anything when our children do something. Coach is telling us not to say anything when our children say something. Coach is telling us just to keep quiet. Some people even go and say, that yellow woman that teaches people not to beat their children, teaches people things that is against the Bible. Please let me tell you, my dear sisters and brothers, not yelling is not keeping quiet. I was teaching the parents in the Understanding Your Child Learning Style, which is the course that we just concluded last month. That course was blazing fire. And, while I was teaching, I was trying to tell them that the problem with us, thinking that, these things, everything had to be with aggression and all of that, is that children are actually not learning because the brain doesn't really learn in aggression. The brain just replicates, and that's what happens. So emotional intelligence skills. So what happened to me then was I was praying, I was trying to stop to yell, and I was thinking that yelling was just keeping quiet. You observe that you will tell yourself, I'm going to stop yelling. And then after like 1 week, you explode and start screaming everywhere. And then you say, but they told us that this no yelling thing, all right, does works. I know every time people say that, I'm wondering, really? But you did nothing. You just saw something online, copied it, and you ran with it. There are skills that need to actually be taught for you to stop yelling. One of the things I had to learn was emotional intelligence. And I started putting, all that in perspective. So if you do not have emotional intelligence, you cannot manage your emotions, you're in trouble. You will continue to yell. There's nothing like that. The yelling will come. You say, let me just keep quiet. Then after like 2 days, you like, they said I should not keep quiet in that academy. It is not possible to keep quiet. Nobody said you should keep quiet, though. Do not quote me. I just said that there are skills that is required for you to deal with issues instead of you yelling. Number 3 is disciplines. Discipline. What is discipline? I've said countless times that discipline is structure. When we talk about discipline, a lot of people come and they say, is it not this discipline and everything? I've been doing it. I've been trying it and all of that. Without discipline, you cannot effectively stop yelling. There's a discipline to the structure. That's structure. The structure that you create. There's a structure. There's a way my kitchen looks, for instance. My children are old enough. I've been teaching them. So there's a way it looks. There's a structure that it takes. I wouldn't have to come and say, oh, you didn't do it. There's already a standard. All I need to ask you is the kitchen looking the way it should look? There's a structure to the routines that fly in my home. You can't wake up in the morning and you put on TV and you're watching cartoons. Sometimes I don't even understand it. What are the structures in your home? Now, without this discipline that works, that's what I would like to call it. The discipline that works, without it, you would not succeed. Because every child that must grow must be disciplined appropriately. And this is very, Very important. Now, understand disciplinary policies, understand what should happen, understand how things should go. Create systems in your home that actually speak to what it is that you're trying to teach your children. Now, for instance, we have the holiday session now. Every parent had thrown away discipline to the winds. Oh yeah, because you you just wake up, you say it's holiday. Allow the children to do whatever it is. No structure, nothing. And you think you will not yell. After like 2, 3 days, you start screaming at everybody. That's a very key aspect of you being able to stop yelling. You need to plan, you need to structure. Now, with the holiday, one of the things that I tell parents to do, I told parents in the inner circle since yesterday, go and get out your ultimate holiday bundle and prepare for holiday. There's such a thing as actually creating and planning for the holiday. So instead of just looking at the holiday, whatever thing goes, whatever it is that happened, and all of that, you just, put it. There are so many things that you can do. Make plans, decide what you want. Make a reading list for the holiday. Find something to read daily. If it's travel, you guys are going to travel. How is the travel going to go? What should be in that travel? What should you guys be learning? You can hone the skills of mathematics by creating fun games in your home. Utilize, you can get to set, budget, planning with your children, create a chore list. Holiday learning should never be separated from holiday fun. Holiday learning should never be separated from the holiday fun. So create a system in your home and that's why during holiday, parents shout more. Yes, parents shout more during holiday because everywhere, because during the school time, your children wake up in the morning, you dress them up, they go to school, at least you have some free time and you're like, oh, okay, before they come back, I would have settled in and all of that. But that's why people are so afraid of the holiday. I was speaking to someone recently and the person said, I do not want the holiday to come. I do not want to, I don't want the holiday not to come. As in, I'm tired. My children are going to give me headache. As in, my heart is beating. I'm sure there are a lot of parents like that. Of course, apart from the parents in the inner circle, you understand already. Now, you cannot be, a holiday should be fun. I have looked forward to the holiday, particularly myself. All right. It gives me a chance to connect, give me a chance to do stuff, give me a chance to do a lot with my own children. So it's interesting when, parents begin to look at the holiday like the holiday is supposed to be. It's because you do not have the discipline. You do not have the structure to actually be able to do that. One of the things that you can do in this holiday is to limit screen time. Give them alternative activities that inspire their imagination and let their mind grow. Talk, play games. All right? Do brain teasers, read. You can keep a journal, all right, this period, an Easter break journal, or whatever it is, all right? Free your children from, right? Let them build their vocabularies, let them do, presentations, let them do stuff. Do board games, get creative. There are some things that the parents in the inner circle are already sharing with their creativity and all of that. Yesterday, my children got back and a lot of how the whole place is already, my daughter's room is full of plenty art. When I'm done, we'll have a big painting that we ordered, that's going to be on a very big wall. We're all going to paint it together. We're going to take time, paint it together. It's part of the fun. Pusola said before TIP, I used to dare the holiday, but now I usually look forward. That's it. You look forward to the holiday because now I understand what to do and the structure that can help me keep everyone on the same page. It's beautiful. Thank you, Pusola, for sharing that. When you know what to do, the holiday will stop being a time you dread. It will become a time that you actually love. And that's actually the beautiful thing about the holiday. All right? So if you plan, and a lot of people are even looking for where to send their children away to this holiday, please don't send them away. All right. One of the things you can do is to get our ultimate holiday bundle. You can use that and create systems, follow a plan, you would thank yourself for it. Okay? And that is something very, very important. The next one is leadership skills. If you do not learn how to lead, you're going to struggle as a parent and you're going to keep yelling. I say that parenting is leadership. And then it's leadership skills that also tells you that you need to learn, you need to train yourself. Many times when I talk about us working on where we're coming from, a lot of parents say, oh, what are you saying? A parent is a leader. A parent is not a leader who is a tyrant, by the way. Today, I was sharing what I call the servant leadership model with the parent in the inner circle. Servant leadership. And I was sharing with them, I said, what I did yesterday is an example of servant leadership. For every time our children have come back from school, there is a welcome setting. All right? Posters here, balloons, decorations, just make it nice. It's servant leadership. It takes a lot of our time. All right? But it's servant leadership. So in that way, you begin to also teach your children how to be servant leaders. A parent is a servant. That's the only leadership system that work in parenting. All right? A parent is a servant leader. And it's servant leadership that helps you to now begin to understand that, okay, there are a lot of things that is wrong that I will need to deal with. A very vivid example would be the trauma of where you're coming from. Every time I tell parents, review where you're coming from, do you know that one of the reasons one of the skills you need to build to stop yelling, right, will be that you deal with your trauma. And that takes us to the next one. All right? Not learning skills. Now, it is important that you learn to deal with whatever program that you have. See, there is something called a program. Many of you were yelled at, right? Many of you were yelled at. And that yelling is the same thing that happened to me as well. So I'm not even taking myself out, okay? That yelling, what happens to it is that you need to retrain the brain. The brain is now programmed to see itself as some, yelling. That's how you respond. That's the only thing you know. So if you want to move away from being a yeller, you need to deal with that program. While we were teaching in the course, Understanding Your Child Learning Style, I taught the parents about the neuroplasticity ability of the brain, where you can retrain your brain. It's called reprogramming, where you can reprogram your brain and teach your brain to do things differently. And it's such a big deal. Many of the times, parents don't even know that this reprogramming is one of the reasons why they can't just stop yelling. I grew up being yelled at by my dad. My dad was a chronic yeller. My father didn't hit us. I was not hit. I don't understand when people say you must beat a child for the child to turn out okay. Honestly speaking, I've never been able to understand that narrative. So I can't connect. But you see yelling, I can relate very well. And I remember that when I started, all right, one of the things that I would say those days will be, when I become a parent, I will never yell at my children. All these ones that daddy will yell, do this, do that, and all of that. It will never, ever, ever happen to me. Guess what? When I became a parent, that became my number one style. Do you know why? My brain was actually programmed to receive. So parenting, the truth of the matter is that our brain is drawn to the negatives most of the time. My mom was not a yeller. My dad was. So it was just easy for me to connect with that, negative. So all I knew was that even when I didn't want to yell, my brain was programmed to yell. My brain was programmed to yell. Just like many of us, our brain had been programmed to yell. So no matter how you want to, change it, no matter how you want to try to be different and all of that, you will see yourself struggling. because that is what the brain, how your brain is built. So until you actually look at this thing, okay, until you look at it and do it differently, you will see yourself still struggling because the brain doesn't know any other thing. Now, the risk is that your children's brain is also being programmed to yell. So what did I do? One of the things I did was, to reprogram my brain. They say that when you do something, a habit for 21 days, you find out that you actually begin to grow a new habit. What happens is that the neurons begin to fix in, begin to connect differently. And then it becomes a way for the brain to think. So that's what I had to do. That's learning. I began to reprogram my brain. I reprogrammed my brain, and my brain got it that I do not need to respond when somebody does something by screaming at them. But when my brain didn't get it, as much as I didn't want it, I still did it. Who is like me? A lot of you were yelled at, but when you become a parent, you say, I will never do these things. I am never going to. But you see yourself yelling. In fact, you see yourself yelling so much that you're not wondering, Omo, I need to go and apologize to my parents. Maybe this yelling is just the way it must be. I'm sure some of you have even said it. You have said to yourself, I'm sure that this yelling, this yelling is just, that's just the way it is. That's just, you can never, in fact, some of you are thinking in your head, you can never parent without yelling. What's coach saying? What's she saying? You can never, I used to say that. In fact, I used to look at, sometimes I read a book, I'm like, how can somebody not yell with all these things that these children are doing? That's the way you think, because that's what your brain tells you. But the moment I started to reprogram my brain, I understood that it was just the program that was in my brain. That's all my brain understood. So right now, my brain now understand that, hey, you don't need to yell. So the program I now have in my head is, you don't need to really raise your voice about this. But before now, the program I had in my head, some many years ago, about 13 years ago, was, in fact, that's what started my journey. All right? That's what started my journey in parenting. I told myself, I told myself that I inherited the yelling from my father. How can you just say that you inherited the yelling? Oh my goodness. All right. And then that's what I used to say. And I said, well, maybe that's the way I am. I beg, I will say it, and everything will be all right. In fact, I started the journey on intentional parenting. I had the privilege of staying with my two younger brothers. They come to my home now, they're like, oh, see peace and calm. If it's before, you just do something, when you just say, what? How? As we were talking about it, and it was funny. And I'm sure that if you have moved from, like me, moved from where you used to be to where you are, and you go and ask questions about how you used to behave, you will be shocked at what you will get. Somebody said it's really tough not to yell. It is tough because the program in your head, but you can actually do a lot. You can actually stop it. If I can, you can. Trust me. You've not even, when people say, coach, it's because your children are not like this. Oh, coach, it's because you are the one who told you. That yelling, I used to be a chronic yeller, if there's anything like that. And that's why when I wrote the book, From Yelling to Calm, a lot of parents still asked, no, this From Yelling to Calm is not enough. Let us do a challenge, all right, where you can teach this thing in practical terms. So one of the things we do at the No Yelling Challenge is to share practical things I have done, parents have done, all right, to be able to get out of yelling, all right? And if you intentionally learn and discipline yourself, you can stop yelling. You can stop yelling. I have always been a yeller. Even my dad used to warn me when I was young. He says you are in control of your voice. So it's something, it's just your brain. And the bad thing about yelling and you yelling at your children is that you're also teaching their brain how to yell. I shared a story in my book, The Discipline That Works, how you train the brain of a horse. When you train a horse and you talk to the horse slowly, the horse will listen. So when the horse grows older, you scream at the horse will not hear you, because the horse has been programmed not to listen to high tones. But if you talk gently, the horse will hear you. Then when you raise that horse with oh, oh, ooh, and then when the horse is older, when you shout, the horse will hear you. When you talk slowly or talk, low tone, the horse will never hear you. Programs. Go and research it anywhere on training horses. And that's the same thing that happens when we train our children. We train our children and we train their brain to only listen to what. In fact, I remember that when I got married, and one of the things that helped me was attending communication classes, which is one of the reasons why we take communication very, big in my marriage, and even in the academy, we take it, very high. And one of the things that happened is, I would something will happen and I would just yell, and my husband will be like, "Come on, you don't need to yell." And I'm like, "No, if you don't yell, the person is not going to listen." That's what I knew. That's what you think. If I didn't walk this journey of reparenting myself, of retraining my brain, today, I am still going to share on social media and say, you forget that thing. Once you yell, they will listen. And I see quite a lot of people share the same thing. Right in their comments, in their social media posts, and it's ignorance. I would have been, my friend calls it intelligent nonsense. I would have been intelligently sharing these things with you. Intelligent nonsense. Without having to actually know that this is me. Most people are speaking from their trauma because they haven't really, grown. They haven't even left that this thing. We call it relearning. We call it emotional relearning. There's something about you relearning how you have learned something. There's something about you doing it differently the way you have done it before. There's something about you, the brain will learn. So relearning is a key factor on your journey. If you do not relearn, if you do not retrain your brain, forget it, you continue to yell. All right. So one of the things we did was that we listened to the parents, and we created the no yelling challenge. For years now, we've run the no yelling challenge for years. It's one of the longest standing courses in the academy. So we run it once every year. Some parents have attended the no yelling challenge for 4 years now. All right. One of the things I know is that if you're going to stop yelling, so you want to be consistent. I have also seen parents who, after a while, they're not learning anymore. The brain is just trying to figure out what's happening here, what's happening here. The brain just goes ahead to just do whatever it is that is available to them. All right. And somebody said, oh, they don't listen. All right. The day I knew I had to stop, when my child was I repeated what I heard him yell at him the week before. I couldn't believe my ears. I was laughing. I was ashamed self. So that's it. So when you are yelling, what happens when you're yelling is that your children are not listening, actually. Your children are not listening. All right. So this is supposed to, learning skills is supposed to be the fifth one. I'll give you a bonus point. Connection. Connection. My kids told me, Mommy, do you know you have stopped yelling? Thanks to TIP. Awesome. Connection. Connection. If you do not connect with your children, you will not stop yelling. Because connection is you building a relationship with them. Connection is you, infusing with them. Connection is you having to be with them. Connection is you having to talk with them. Connection is you having to know who they are. Connection is you building a relationship with them. You need to connect with your children. Most parents in the inner circle will tell you that since they joined the academy, the more they connect with their children, the more they are no longer yelling. Stopping to yell is not a one-time thing. It's something that you need to sow in continuously. So you need to ask yourself, am I willing to stop yelling? The choice is actually yours. Am I willing to stop yelling? All right. So when you actually connect with your children, it will be so difficult for you to. So somebody you have a relationship with, you're not going to be talking on top of their head. You're not going to talk on top of their head. So it is in that aspect that you're going to be looking at it. All right. So it is important that you look at these skills, build them, and most importantly, join us for this challenge. I'm going to take questions. I decided I'm going to make this short today, 30 minutes, and then take questions in the next 15 minutes. If you have questions, put in the comment section. All right. And then I can see a lot of questions because I know that this no yelling always arises question. People are, this one, oh, all these questions are, please join the challenge. I'm going to answer your question, but please join the challenge. All right. Somebody said the parents asked, how do you connect, kids in their early years, especially when they are very stubborn? All right. Especially when they are very stubborn and don't listen in their early years. Children can't listen. Who said children can't listen? Where do we get these things from that children can't listen? I have 3-year-olds who are very attentive. We don't train our children to listen. We train them to talk over them because we think that we know what communication is. We don't communicate. We talk over our children. Your 2-year-old listens. I have friends who have 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. Most of them, their parents are in the academy, or all of them, not most of them. When they get into my house, their communication is so apt. You don't need to raise a voice. You do not need to raise a voice to actually get the child to learn. So children can listen. They just don't listen how. They just don't listen how you want them to listen. You want to give a child instructions as an adult. Sometimes I ask people, I say, you want a child to become a banker by 10, age 10. It's not possible. Give them age appropriate conversation. And that's why you must learn. There's no two ways about it. All right? You must learn. This is very important. Somebody said, you have only 2. I have 5. So how is it possible? Awesome. I love this. If you have 5 children, if you create a structure, it is very possible. I'm not just teaching what I have done. I am teaching what parents have practiced. And also, there are parents in the academy who have 7 children. I have a particular parent who has 7 children, different ages. And she has been able to structure her home. And it's a blended family, for your information. And she has been able to structure her home so very well that right now, it's so amazing. Do you even believe that it's possible not to yell at your children first? That's the first place to start from. All right? That's the first place to start from. Somebody said, I would love to love the challenge. I yell a lot. Please see details on my screen. The challenge is 499 naira, 4,999. That's $11. The link is in the description. All right. You can put that out. And of course, I think 14th of April, this fee changes. It's going to change and keep changing. So please get in now. The first 100 people get my book, 30 Days Set Conversation. I am just giving that. I think we have reached 100 already. I don't know. But I think we have a few slots to get to the 100. So if you pay now, it will be very good that you actually take advantage of that. I know my 1-year, 11-year-old Bobby hears and listens clearly. But no matter how calmly you ask her not to pour water on the floor, she mysteriously hides away and does exactly that. How can I do? You need to think. You need to understand that your child is experimental. What does that mean? Your child is trying to learn their word. All right? Your child is trying to learn their word, and you need to give your child, curiosity platform. You need to give your child the place to come from to be able to actually pour water, do stuff, and all of that. So your 2-year-old, your 1-year-old pouring water on the floor is actually a good thing. It's not mischief. It is them trying to learn their word. Give them opportunities to do that, so that you don't see it as, oh, this child just wants me to do more work. No, that's not it. It's a myth that children can't listen. Thank you, Dr. Omolala. I used to think this way before I joined TIP, but now I know it's not true. It's all about how you train the child from day one. Thank you so much, Dr. Molola. All right. Where have you been, by the way? All right. And this is very, very key. Children, listen. Okay? There's nothing like that children don't listen. Please don't buy into that lie. I've parented from both sides, and I can say that parenting from the place of knowledge, it won't makes all the difference. Join the inner circle and become empowered and knowledgeable parent. Thank you, Lola. So the inner circle program, of course, it's a place where if you are there, you understand that children listen. You're 1 year old. Do you know that it is in the academy when people say, I've talked about it and I told people, see, your child can do anything. I have 3-year-olds who make their bed smooth. Children of the parents in the inner circle, 3-year-olds, they wake up in the morning, they make their beds. All right. I was listening to a testimony of one of the parents in the inner circle. The daughter, was given to share devotion. She's 4. She didn't sleep preparing. The next day she shared, she prayed. What you teach children is what they will learn. Trust me. The problem is that we do not even have we don't have enough tools, we don't have enough knowledge to actually mitigate that. I was a yeller, but for the past 5 months I joined the inner circle. There is a calm and peace in my home. By the way, talking about the inner circle, the next cohort of the inner circle is starting on the 1st of December 2023. It's not starting now. Please don't be confused. It's a 1-year program in the academy. The No Yelling Challenge is a 5-day No Yelling Challenge. You can join that one now and be part of it. It's a short course. The inner circle is our longest course, and very profound. And then Jennifer said, let her clean the water by herself when she pours it. Yes, this is very important too. Thank you, Jennifer. I see, I have coaches in the academy. Yeah. All right. So should we allow the child keep pouring water on the floor? No, you shouldn't. You should teach the child what's the difference. Tell the child, show the child. You pour water on the floor, this is what it does. Now, when you do it, this is how you need to do it. Clean it if you make a mistake. Get playthings that will allow your children to play with water, because the child will want to find the water. So maybe a sand pit that has water, or water outside to mix with something. The child is just being experimental. So teach instead of trying to fight. So instead of fighting, please teach. My 3-year-old, this is the Cheese Room family. Thank you so much, Cheese Room. My 3-year-old boy will wake up and lay his bed. That's what happens when your children are actually parented intentionally. Cheese Room is in the inner circle. We have 3-year-olds now laying bed, making breakfast for themselves and fixing meals for their younger ones. My 3-year-olds didn't do it. But I have seen parents in the academy do even a lot much more. Oh, my 3-year-olds will fix their bed. But of course, they didn't make food at that time. Still cereal and all of that. But your children can do a lot. All right? So most things will call mischief or even call stubborn or wickedness actually age appropriate. Yes, it's actually age appropriate. Okay? This is very true. Somebody said, I have followed coach from when my son was 2 months old and he listens very well. I don't have to yell. Whenever I mistakenly yell, he's terrified. That's the word. Thank you so much. Teach instead of trying to fight. Okay. Somebody said, Makarele said, my 3-year-old fixes his meal. Thank God I'm not just talking, I'm not just talking gibberish. Yeah. Thank God I have witness. I got some witness here this morning. With the TRV skills, you get the child water, toy tools to help them child express that adventure. This is very, very, very key. Okay. So coach just talked about forming new habits after practicing for at least 21 days. I always knew this. And I told myself earlier on, until I taught something 21 times, I can't get impatient. Amazing. This is amazing. Most of us as parents don't teach. And we expect them to know. Yes, we don't. We don't teach. We expect them to know what to do. When you teach them intentionally, they learn and they thrive. All right. So Akarele said, my 3-year-old that was set to be autistic makes his meal. See, if you actually buy in these tools, the difference will be so clear that you will marvel. That's the truth. I have seen parents do so much When I mean so much, I mean so much. With just being able to practice the tools that we have in the academy. All right. So it's important that you learn how to communicate with your children. So even your child in the womb can hear. So whoever told you that children don't listen lied to you. That's where the concept of reading for children when they were in the womb, but that's where actually it came from. Because children in the womb can actually hear you. No, they are not, they don't have deficiency. It is just the way, all right, that we teach. All right, I cannot see any more questions here. Thank you for joining me today. If you want to join the my child is 5. Am I too late to be a better parent? No way. No way, you're not. Even parents who have 10-year-olds joining the academy, you'll still have a lot of time. Trust me, you would love your journey. All right. Even when I try to yell, when I tell my kids about what is coming next, there's always a fight. When it's finally time to leave the park or leave the activities, any tips to help this? Okay, I didn't get this question. All right. I didn't get this question, but you need to learn to communicate with your children, whatever that is. Communicate with your children, let them understand. Okay, so example is children throwing tantrum in the shops. Now, many of the times you find out that a lot of children are on the floor pointing at what should be bought and all of that. Many parents will lash out on them. Then they will buy that thing that they were pointing at, or they will just buy it so that to maintain peace and tranquility. Because of course, you heard coach say you need to parent with peace and calm. So you don't want anything, you just maintain peace. Let me tell you the trick. When you do that, you are rewarding a tantrum. You're rewarding a tantrum. When you reward a tantrum, the child will look at it and say, oh, wow, this thing works. So the next time the child goes to that place, the child is going to throw the tail on the floor again. You get embarrassed. You do it. I don't know what being embarrassed means when it comes to parenting, really. When my child does something and I'm outside, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Right? I don't buy into people's shame. People in the inner parents in the inner circle know. I've said that so many times. It's your shame. It's okay. You want to be on the floor and throw tantrum. It's fine. My children never threw a tantrum on the market pointing at what they should buy. How? How do you want to do it? Nobody will buy it. When you're done, you stand up, we clean you up, you will be fine. I will be there with you when you're throwing the tantrum, and it's okay. And before you know it, the child would actually begin to learn. All right. How do you discourage a child from hitting and punching people? You need to start by how you are parenting. When you hit people, your child is eventually going to hit people. How can we help with tantrum at the shop? Because my child still did it yesterday at the shop. He just kept crying all through. It's fine. He will learn. Teach him how to label his emotions. If you didn't attend the emotional intelligence course, I would advise that you go take that course. It will help you in labeling. So, because your children are going to test, yes, thank you, Mary Beth. They're going to test what is possible and acceptable. So, when they throw the tantrum, you go ahead and do what they're throwing a tantrum for. Of course, they are like, oh, wow, this is so good. And then, of course, tantrum rewarded, and then they come back to you again. And then, because you do not want to get embarrassed again, you continue, and the circle just continues. So, this is me telling you that it's possible to parent with peace and calm. All right. So go run now and register for the No Yelling Challenge. Trust me, you want to be at that challenge. All right. Starts on the 1st of May. We are going to hit it off. All right. And where you're going to be very, 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 very glad that you joined the No Yelling Challenge. All right. So look at the details. Look at the details on my screen. You can take screenshots. Remember that this prize goes up on the 14th of April. And of course, the first 100 people get a copy of my 30 days conversation. That book costs 3,000. So you can get it free when you be among the first 100 people. We launched this course just yesterday. And I think I don't even know what number we have now. I think we have more than 50 persons already. Okay. Beyond knowing each other, I encourage every parent to join the inner circle. In fact, I cannot even emphasize that enough. Book your slot for inner circle. Book your slot for inner circle and start, wait, because the next cohort is 1st of December. We currently have 600 people who have paid on the waiting list for next, all right, for next year. The next year cohort starts on the 1st of December 2023. If you don't meet up, you wait again, all right, for next year, because you can't come in the middle. Please pay attention. Book that slot now. So beyond no yelling challenge, this is so good. Please join, book your slot for inner circle. Nancy, you can join the the current no yelling challenge, and that will really help you. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. See you again at 2 o'clock, all right, where we're going to be launching the International Day of Cam. I'm going to be live with Celia Kibla, and I invite every single one of you to be part of that. Thank you. And if you have more questions, pay for my time. And you can pay for a 1 hour session, and then we'll get into build the structure specifically for you. All right. Reach out to the team with the number scrolling on that, and you will be able to get, all of that. Thank you so much for over 50. Thank you so much, TRP Academy. We'll have almost 100 registered participants for the No Yelling Challenge. Please do not, all right, sit on the fence, get into that challenge, and let us squash yelling once and for all. Thank you, team. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember that our Tuesday Live is on Tuesday at 2 p.m. We had to ship this today. Thank you, everybody. My advice is book a slot, prepare yourself. The class is mind-blowing and very intense. It gives more value than what you pay for. Thank you, Madam Ejiro. I see you. I see you, guys. I see you, Inner Circle parents. I see you, guys. See you again. For Inner Circle parents, see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I can't wait for that class. I look forward to it. All right. If you're not in the Inner Circle, sorry, I can't help you with that class. But trust me, you want to book your slot and wait for the next session. So see you again next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. if you are a Tuesday class member, right? You know what I mean. And then see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the parents in the Inner Circle. Of course, they know that I come with buzzwords. The parents in the Inner Circle can take in the buzzwords and they run. Oh, I love those parents. I love the way they run. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much. And see you at the No Yelling Challenge. Do have an amazing day. Do not forget to join us at 2 p.m. You'll see it on my timeline. So you can join us on the International Day of Calm. Come and celebrate with me. I'm the only Nigerian that sits on that board all over the world. Yay! So please come and celebrate with me. Thank you and thank you. Thank you. Do have an amazing day. How much does it cost to belong to the Inner Circle? Please see the details scrolling on that. All the details are there for you to get in. Thank you and remain blessed.